Hey, everybody. Welcome to No Excuses, where basically the show is to help people deal with the pandemic and give you some bright news. And honestly, what other bright news than you can do but Christmas? I know Christmas is gone, but there was a lot of good things that happened during Christmas holidays. And one of the events was a Santa Claus event that happened in Fort Erie. And I have one of the organizers here with me, Stephen Passero. Hey, Stephen, how are you today?
Good, Trent. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Now, I understand that because of the COVID restrictions, the Santa Claus parade couldn't go through as normal. So you guys arranged a different kind of an event. Can you give us a little bit of a background of what happened at that day?
Yeah, so the we had made a decision very early on in the calendar year regarding the Santa Claus parade. We generally start planning in January, February for the parade. It's almost a year-round endeavor to book the bands that we get and assemble the groups. And logistically, there's so many different things happening for an event of that size. So we knew early on that the parade in its usual form probably wasn't going to happen. And as we got closer to that date, we made a decision that we'd have to pivot away to something else. We could have had a parade in some form. We probably could have had people social distance on the streets and the sidewalks, but the biggest obstacle was getting groups of participants in the parade. Bands had not been meeting. There was restrictions on the number of people that could gather. Dance troops hadn't met. Service clubs were not holding meetings. So pretty much the bulk of our parade had not been in any semblance of order for months and months and months. So we decided, unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to do the parade. However, my co-elf Barb, who's done the parade with me for many years now, we had been working with the great team at Fort Erie Festivals in planning for another community event for September. And that event, of course, had to be canceled. But in the process of working with these great folks, we said, you know what? We can't do our Santa Claus parade. Why don't we try to wrap our minds around something that we could do around Christmas time? So that's really where it started, was finding some great people that were willing to take a chance and just pushing forward. You know, as you said, no excuses. We had an idea and we said we'll find a way to do it, and we'll just figure out how do we get around all of the different protocols, adhere to all of the different regulations, make sure it's safe, and at the end of the day, find a way to bring Santa to Fort Erie, which was very important for all of us. So many events had been canceled that we thought, you know what, it's incumbent upon this group here to at least make something happen before the end of 2020.
Yeah, because you definitely want to give the kids Santa Claus because it's not be Christmas without Santa. So you guys definitely did something different. But it was kind of exciting to see because you guys went to the Fort Erie racetrack and you opened up the parking lot, and basically you had how many cars did you have coming in?
The day of, we had a little over 600 vehicles come to the event, which was our maximum. We just could not fit any more space wise or logistically. And the folks at the Fort Erie racetrack were absolutely tremendous in their hospitality towards us. We approached them just with about 3 months notice and said, here's a crazy idea that we have. Would you be on board? They said, absolutely. Just let us know what we need. So we can't thank them enough for how gracious they were and how assistive they were as far as allowing us to do what we did.
Right. And then you also had entertainers that were going in between cars performing so that people still got a show and everything like that. So it was an excitement just to see that. Plus, you guys had Santa Claus driving around, and then he had him doing a little speech, and then an amazing fireworks display. Correct?
Yeah, it was one of the challenges was how do we create an event that we were kind of calling protocol proof. So no matter what the province decided to do as far as changing the protocols, what could we plan and be safe with? And we settled very early on something that was kind of drive-in style. So people would stay in their cars, or at the very least around the perimeter of their cars. So we had all of the cars distance, quite a distance apart. The fantastic folks at Peacock School of Dance came on board early on at our invitation. So we had their fantastic dance troops going in and amongst the cars, doing a performance. And as you mentioned, we utilized the float that we generally utilize for the Santa Claus parade to bring Santa around. So that there's a lot of things that happen that, although it wasn't the parade, some things actually turned out better. Generally, in the parade, the kids don't get to be that close to Santa. We were able to take him up and down every row of the parked cars, so kids really got an up close and personal look at him. And the fireworks show was absolutely spectacular. We worked hard on it. We spent a few bucks there, and I think people were surprised as to the level and the scale of the fireworks show. I don't think it's what anybody was expecting, but we wanted to make sure that we ended the day on a pretty high caliber note.
Oh yeah, definitely, because you want to make sure that it gives memories, because that's all that this is about. Because a lot of times during this pandemic, a lot of people have negative memories, and to give people positive stuff in their lives, to give them a smile, it I guess it just puts them in a different frame of mind, because let's face it, this pandemic has put a lot of people in negative places, and to have an event like this is definitely something that, we're very thankful for. And honestly, to keep people safe is very amazing that you guys did, because there's a lot of people that would have said, they're not doing anything for us and that, but meanwhile you guys are turning around and making it into a positive. You're not using excuses of saying, well, I'm sorry the government's doing this, but instead you're saying, okay, let's plan out what the government's restriction might be and everything like that. So you guys definitely put your all your hard work and effort, and it definitely paid off, because of what I heard, everyone keeps on saying it was an amazing event, and they did truly appreciate it. So great job on you guys.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, we were thrilled with how it turned out. We had an army of amazing volunteers, well over 40 volunteers that helped us pull this off. A true team effort all the way around to ensure people's safety, and the cooperation of those in attendance, cannot go unnoticed. That's a key part to any event, is putting policies and procedures in place, but having people adhere to them. We had the assistance of the Niagara Regional Police, which were fantastic in the traffic flow. We brought in 600 vehicles to the site in 40 minutes and had 600 vehicles leave the site at the end in less than half an hour, all safe, no incidents. So yeah, and we could have just shut the doors and said, we'll see what we can do next year. But we decided, no, we'll figure out a way to do this. And if you surround yourself with people with unlimited enthusiasm and willing to take a little bit of a chance and work hard, anything is possible.
Well, half an hour. Maybe you guys should be talking to the drive-ins and the baseball leagues, because they can never get those cars out that quickly. That's impressive.
Well, I think we even impressed ourselves, and discussions have already begun as to what we could do next year. COVID or lesser COVID, because all in all, it was a great event. So sometimes the most negative opportunities presents positive possibilities, and we definitely took advantage of this one and did the best that we could. We definitely had our naysayers going in, but I think we proved people wrong, that it is possible to do something on a large scale if you plan it properly and put all the right things in place.
That's awesome. Now, I'm ask a lot everyone that's on the show, what does no excuses mean to you?
Oh, I think it just means finding a way to make things happen. There's always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be things around the corner that are unexpected. But I think if you have a plan in place and you're committed to that plan, but willing to change the plan, that's important, because no excuses also means you can't get too dug in on any one principle or policy. You have to be dynamic and fluid and just go with the flow. And at the end of the day, if everybody's committed to the same mission, doesn't matter what comes up, there's nothing that can stand in your way. And I'm very fortunate, although I'm usually the one doing these interviews or being in the newspaper. There's a tremendous team of people around me. This is not a one person show by any means.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like, I think what comes down to exactly what you're saying is you got to think outside the box. You can't just keep to the same puzzle that piece that you guys do every year, saying, okay, this is what we need here and this that. You always have to think more. Okay, what else can we do if this happens, or if this happened? Like, no one expected this pandemic to hit this hard, but you guys still said, okay, we got to take this now, and we got to run with it, but we got to plan this out successfully. And like you said, you have a successful team that worked well with you and organized this event. And honestly, I think no excuses. You guys definitely shine through because you didn't let the excuse of, oh, well, we can't do this or can't do that. Instead, you turned it around and said, but we can do this instead.
Yeah.
And I think
And
that
the team at Fort Erie Festivals, we also pulled off, a great New Year's Eve virtual events. We were looking for something like that. And to your point, Trent, sometimes you just have to be prepared. And one of those items was, for instance, the fireworks show. So we knew that if our capacity was 600, there'd be many more people than 600 cars that would want to come. So we anticipate 600 cars. That's our max. You figure 5 people per vehicle, 3,000 people on site, but generally about 5,000 people come to watch the parade. So what do we do for those other people that couldn't get a ticket? And that's when we decided to increase the scope of the fireworks show. So if you can't be on site, at least you could be somewhere in almost half of Fort Erie and view the fireworks show. So we wanted to look at every way possible to be as inclusive as possible and ensure that, even though we couldn't include everybody as part of the main events, at least we could do something for as much of the community as possible.
and that's quite honorable, and I appreciate that you did this as a Fort Erie person and also just as a person because you guys put in the time and effort, and as anybody, we appreciate what you do. And there will always be naysayers, but you know what? That doesn't matter because what you guys did was something amazing for such a small event. Like you put in your time and effort and made it into a small event to a very big event in a very short order, and you guys pulled it off amazingly.
Yeah, the municipality assisted us greatly. We couldn't have done it without their support. That the fire department being on site allowed us to have the caliber show of fireworks that we did. So yeah, everybody recognized that this was our one opportunity in 2020 to do something for the community of Fort Erie, and we're proud. There was a lot of smiling kids leaving the parking lot, and that's the reason that we do it.
Yeah, exactly. So, Stephen, is there anything you want to give to people through this pandemic, like some kind of advice to say, how to organize or how to keep positive through this time?
Oh, I don't usually give advice, Trent. All I would say is that as of at least now, it looks like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and just got to keep pressing forward. It's been a very, very difficult year for many people, some more than most. Tragic year for many, but you just have to keep moving forward. If you grind things to a halt, it doesn't get any better. So we're happy that what we were able to do was just maybe one small part of brightening up somebody's day on one day in December, and we were happy to be able to do that.
And this is what this show is all about, is even if I just affected one person and give them a hope to get through this, then that does it for me. But Stephen, thank you for taking your time. I do appreciate it, and I also appreciate your friendship over the years. And once this is all done, yes, I know you owe me a steak dinner.
Usually it's the other way around. The guest is treated to something, but I, I will await my Jelly of the Month gift card to come in the mail from your
Okay.
program.
I still haven't got your address right, so we'll see how that one goes.
Good to see you, Trent.
Good to see you, and you have a great day.
You too. Take care.